When Russian forces invaded Ukraine in February 2022, the backlash against Russian President Vladimir Putin was swift and forceful. In addition to condemnation from nations around the world, there was also a large number of Russians who opposed the military operation. Russian citizens, including journalists, politicians, athletes, and other celebrities, as well as average Russians, have openly protested the invasion at great personal risk, including a possible sentence of 15 years in prison for broadcasting what has been labeled false information about the conflict, which can even include merely describing it as a war rather than the officially approved description of special military operation. While by and large these individuals have either stayed in Russia, risking the wrath of the regime there, or fled in exile to neighboring countries, there are some who have taken a further step and have joined the Ukrainian military to repel the Russian military operation. To this end, the Freedom of Russia Legion was created. Information is scarce at the moment, but this is what we know. Since the opening stage of the conflict, the Ukrainian government has accepted volunteers from around the world, forming the International Legion of Territorial Defense of Ukraine, or the Ukrainian International Legion. Fighters from over 50 nations have arrived to assist Ukraine in its military campaign against Russian aggression. In a similar fashion, Russian dissidents have joined as well, forming their own unit, the Freedom of Russia Legion. The exact strength of this unit is unknown, but it's believed to be in the several hundreds and growing continually as the conflict rages on. One spokesman stated that it received over 300 applications on a single day, but that's not confirmed. Its members include civilians who are outraged at the war and political dissidents who are opposed to Vladimir Putin. One fighter, identified only as Vitya, stated that he has been vehemently against the Putin regime for many years. "I love my motherland. Hopefully this war will break the political regime. I would like to return home one day," he said in an interview. It was hoped by many of these dissidents that, should the war effort go badly, President Putin's grip over the country is going to be undermined, which might eventually lead to his removal from power. Many of these volunteers have no combat experience or military training, but that's not always the case. One of the largest groups of defectors came from the members of the Russian military, who were captured by the Ukrainians and have volunteered to fight on behalf of the nation that they invaded. In fact, a lot of evidence points to the defection of an entire company of Russian infantrymen as the core around which the Russian Legion was formed. There have been reports since the beginning of the conflict that morale among Russian soldiers is very low. Many soldiers complained that they weren't given adequate equipment, food, fuel, ammunition, and other supplies, or even a clear plan from their high command. "The Russian Defense Ministry has no idea about us or what we're doing here," said one soldier. There's also many reports that soldiers didn't know that they were invading Ukraine. They were told that they were participating in training exercises until hours before they were sent to the front lines. Even units that didn't defect have still mutinied, including a paratrooper regiment that simply refused to fight, forcing Russian high command to withdraw them back to Belarus. Another unit from the South Ossetia allegedly refused to fight and simply walked back to their homeland. In March, an entire armored unit mutinied, killing their commander by running him over with a tank in order to avoid continuing the fight. Many captured Russian soldiers claimed that they were tricked into invading Ukraine illegally. A significant number of these POWs switched sides, believing that their own government betrayed them. These Russian soldiers are also appalled by atrocities that have been committed against Ukrainian civilians. "We were told propaganda, but there are no fascists here, no Nazis, but a civilian population," stated one unnamed defector, directly contradicting one of the stated justifications for the war. "I want to fight this lawless Putin regime so people can speak and breathe freely." The man continued to state that he personally witnessed several atrocities committed by Russian soldiers against the Ukrainian population in Bucha, Irpin, and Kharkiv. In Bucha, there is evidence of mass graves of civilians, as well as other crimes. Other members of the Russian Legion have switched sides for similar regions, citing that Russian soldiers' treatment of Ukrainian civilians is bad, as well as the looting of Ukrainian homes. Russian POWs who wish to join the Ukrainian military do so on a voluntary basis. After being approached by members of the Ukrainian military, they must apply to do so in writing, filling out applications for service in the Ukrainian armed forces. If this application is accepted, they are then thoroughly vetted by Ukrainian security and intelligence services for obvious safety and security reasons. If accepted, they then transfer to the Freedom for Russia Legion. Before being sent to the front lines, they're given some training. This is to familiarize them with the Ukrainian tactical doctrine and how to fight alongside Ukrainian units effectively, and to give them basic lessons in the use of specialist weapons. These include the NLAW anti-tank guided missile, a British-made weapon that has been given to the Ukrainians as part of Western aid packages, weapons that the Russians have no experience in using. Many members of the Legion have expressed a strong desire to be placed in combat against the Chechens, considered to be the guard dogs of the Putin regime. As stated in a post by the Ukrainian Defense Ministry's Telegram channel, many Russian Legion members stated that they expressed a common desire on behalf of all the volunteers to conduct the first battle against the guard dogs of the Putin regime, the Kadyrovites, a reference to the Chechen president, Ramzan Kadyrov. One of the most prominent symbols used by the Russian Legion is the white-blue-white flag. It's based on the normal Russian flag, but with a red stripe on the bottom, replaced by a white stripe. The creators of the flag insist that the red on the modern Russian flag is associated with not just blood, but with its military power and authoritarian strength. The creators also state that the current Russian flag, which came into existence during the reign of Peter the Great, represents imperialism and bloodshed throughout Russian history, going back to the time of the Tsars. This white-blue-white flag has been used as an anti-war protest throughout Russia and other parts of Europe, as well as anti-war graffiti. Because of this, several Russian politicians, including Vasily Piskarev, the head of the Duma's Commission of Foreign Interference, have called for the flag to be banned, claiming that it is a symbol of extremism. Members of the Russian Legion wear patches of the flag on their sleeves as a symbol of their defection from the Russian military. Members of the Legion also have a patch which depicts a white fist on a dark background with the words "Freedom of Russia," denoting them as defectors from the official Russian cause. The Ukrainian government is taking extra measures to encourage the defection of Russian troops. In early April, the government authorized a bounty of $1 million for any soldier who surrenders either a warship or a fighter jet. Bounties of $100,000 have been authorized for any Russians who surrender with a tank, and $10,000 bounties for any lesser piece of military equipment. This policy is a twofold advantage to the Ukrainians. Of course, any loss of material is damaging to the Russian war effort, which is already strained logistically. More importantly, however, the Ukrainians can reuse any piece of captured equipment themselves, since both militaries use the same weapons, vehicles, and other pieces of hardware, mostly from the nation's shared history as a part of the Soviet Union. Russians are not the only foreign nationals that have their own battalion. Belarusians have also joined the Ukrainian military for similar reasons, forming their own distinct unit, the Kastas Kalinowski Battalion. Named after the leader of an 1863 uprising against the Russian Tsar in what is now Belarus, Lithuania, Ukraine, and Poland, the unit is made up of Belarusians opposed to the Russian invasion. So far, Belarus has not been participating directly in the war, but the nation has been utilized by Russia as a staging ground for the invasion, moving troops and supplies to the country. Additionally, aircraft, including military strike operations, have been carried out from Belarusian air bases. Many members of the battalion have been living in exile for many years now, especially in the aftermath of the 2020 presidential election of President Alexander Lukashenko. In the wake of political repression that followed this election, many fled the country, fearing arrest for protesting what is considered by many to be a fraud-filled election process. These Belarusians are of the opinion that the liberation of Ukraine from Russian oppression is a stepping stone for the eventual liberation of their own homeland. Lukashenko is believed by many to be a puppet of Vladimir Putin, and it's hoped that any efforts against the Russian governments is a step on the path for their own nation's freedom from perceived tyranny. Without an independent Ukraine, there won't be an independent Belarus, stated one member of the battalion. As soon as we liberate Ukraine, we will go to liberate Minsk, said another. So, many Belarusians have joined the fight for Ukraine, that a second battalion known as Pahonia is also being formed, which is being attached to the International Legion under Belarusian commanders. This is unusual since most units of the International Legion are placed under Ukrainian officers. Belarusians have also joined the Ukrainian military directly, as well as joining the International Legion, made up of volunteers from around the world. In addition to military actions, Belarusians have also worked as saboteurs, damaging rail lines in their home country that have been used to ferry supplies and reinforcements from Russia to the front, which further hampers the struggling Russian logistics system. We thank you for watching. Please hit that like and subscribe button to help this channel grow. Your support really means the world to us here. Thank you again, and we'll see you all next time.